Let's go into recruiting, okay? And we're going to have a lot of fun with recruiting. And whenever you do a presentation, and this has not only to do with the product, it also has to do with recruiting. You never can pick and choose who's going to be the next star of your Herbalife business, okay? You can never judge that. And it's a little bit sad sometimes because it's very difficult as an individual that when we're looking at someone to not prejudge what and who they are going to become, okay? Sometimes we look at the person that's got a little bit more professional background, they're dressed a little bit more better, they've got a little bit more background in school and this sort of thing, and they seem a little sharper type person, and we think that's going to be the best person. They may be the best person, but they also may not be the best person, okay? You just never know, okay? Because the person who talks the most in Herbalife, okay, is the one who gets the biggest checks. And you don't know who that person's going to be. It could be the housewife, it could be the bartender, it could be someone who's scrubbing toilets for a living, it could be the janitor, it could be the person that does your dry cleaning, and it could be a dental hygienist, and it could be a dairy farmer, and it could be a doctor, and it could be a lawyer. You just never know. So what you got to do, okay, whenever you're going to do a presentation about the products or you're going to do it about the business, here's what you got to do. Don't prejudge anybody. Treat everybody nice. Treat everybody with respect. Treat everybody equal, no matter who and what they are, okay? No matter what their background is, no matter what their color of skin is, no matter where they come from, what language they speak, it doesn't make any difference, okay? Because we've proven to this point. It was different for me when I got started. Nobody was doing it when I was doing it. Today, everybody's doing it from every single country with every kind of background you can possibly think of. So what you've got to do when you're making your presentation is you've got to do the best presentation you've ever done in your entire life, okay? And then when you get to the next person, you do the best presentation you've ever done in your entire life. So whatever you got to do to get yourself mentally set up and mentally excited about doing your presentation, it needs to be the best, okay? And don't worry, for those of you that are in the back, you're doing your first presentations, don't worry, you'll get better, you'll get better, you'll get better. At a point, you can only get so good. Then all you've got to do is just keep your mental attitude up all the time and make certain that it's the best every single time, because when you meet someone, you just never know who that person's going to be. That could be the next world team, get team, millionaire, or president's team member in your group, okay? So I treat everybody the same, okay, no matter who they are. When we sit down to make their order, okay, and we've recruited them into the company, if they buy 2 bottles, I treat them like they're going to become the next president's team. If they buy $400 worth, I treat them exactly the same. If they buy $4,000 worth, I buy them exactly the same. Because just because they buy more, money's not going to get them to the top position in the company, okay? Working and getting customers and getting more distributors, going wide and going deep with a solid foundation of selling the product, okay, is what's going to get them to the president's team and to have a solid check and a solid future with you, okay? So I treat everybody just like they're going to go up to the top. And also when you're recruiting, here's the kind of attitude that you want to have, okay? Because a lot of times when people are getting into the recruiting phase from being on the products, they're a lot stronger on getting people on the products than they are the money. The reason for that is you've lost weight a lot quicker than you've made $1 million. So you don't approach people necessarily with that, it's going to happen to you, you're going to get rich, everything's going to happen, it's going to be incredible, and you don't come across as strong with the business as you do the products. Trust me, it's just as easy to get people in the business as it is people on the products. There's millions of people looking for this kind of opportunity to make an extra $2,000 or $3,000, whether it's to take care of their children, put them in a better school, feed them better, or maybe have a decent vacation, or to go on to the top and make $100,000 a year or upwards to $1 million a year like we have some of the president's team making, okay? But when you're approaching people, okay, don't beg the people into the company, okay? Sometimes I see people, you know, they're there and they're talking to someone for 3, 4, 5 hours, and they're begging people to get into their company and stuff like that. Please, please, please get into my business because I'll make some money and stuff like that. No, you got to switch your thinking, okay? Your thinking here is that you're going to do everything to help them get rich, okay? And don't beg them to get into the business. They ought to be begging you to get into this company, okay? Seriously. We got the greatest thing in the world. They should be begging us to get in this company and stuff like that. So here's the kind of attitude that you have, okay, when you're talking to someone about the business. You have the attitude that you're going to get rich and they're going to get rich. So let's just try this out just a little bit here, okay? I want you to turn to the person next to you just real quick. Okay, everybody turn to the person next to you. And I want you to look them square in the eyes, and I want you to say, man, am I glad you got to meet me. Okay, this time we're going to try it as if you believe you're a president, you're going to become a president's team member, and the person that you're talking to is going to become a president's team member. Now look them square in the eyes and say, man, am I glad you got to meet me. That's the attitude. That's the $1 million attitude, see? And when you start feeling that way and you transmit that to the person and they start thinking that way, things become a lot better. And the whole conversation turns to a more serious conversation. Now, I also have the same thing with my distributors that are really on the move. You can't do this with everybody, okay? If you got someone who just says, well, I just want to casually use the products, treat them great. Okay, those are people that will keep using the products at wholesale month after month after month, and maybe that's what they'll do for the rest of their life. Or maybe, you know, down the road here, when you write to them and you say, here, try the flavored teas, they try the teas and they say, man, if they had had that, I would have done the business. Then they try the business. You just never know. But when you got these little wholesale customers and stuff, treat them like gold. I know it's not much money when you got 1 or 2 of them. But when you're recruiting over the year and you end up with 60, 80, or 100 of these guys, it starts to become the couple of $1,000 difference on your level. But when you have 20 or 30 supervisors and they have 20 or 30 supervisors, it starts to become the $100,000 difference. So treat them like gold. Some of these little things don't sound that important, okay, because they're not that important when you start out. It's after you're here a year and 2 years that these things become monumental things, okay? Now, the same kind of plan I have for doing the business. And this is, again, picking up a habit that you do day after day after day, and it starts to add up. So when you're out there recruiting, we already talked about talking to 10 people a day about the products. We also want to talk to